I wish I was making this up, but I'm not. I am currently trying to get my monitors to register for emissions. Now, I've been in New York for roughly about 6 months, and out of those 6 months, I have continuously tried to pass emissions and have continuously failed emissions. This is a 2015 435i. It was at the point of stage 2 plus with 93 octane. Obviously, this car is heavily modded, both softwarely and more mechanically than anything. Now, emissions only requires you to have monitors be present. So your catalyst, your heated catalyst, your O2 sensor, your evap, whatever. I unfortunately am having the worst luck getting my O2 sensors to register and my evap system to clear. So in the state of New York, if you don't have an inspection sticker, which would be me, and you get caught, then it's a hefty fine and you have to put it back together, you have to be presenting it to court and all that stuff. So that's the current situation that I am in. All because I was cruising under the speed limit, enjoying myself, not even listening to music, just kind of driving with the windows down, and a cop wanted to pull me over and give me a ticket for no front plate, which would be my fault, but then also inspection. Now, the only reason why I'm saying this part here is because I've gone past multiple cops already with literally the same thing, and I've, you know, knock on wood, I don't get pulled over again, but haven't had any issues. Matter of fact, I've had 2 of them say, that's a really cool car. Now, granted, this too, I've seen the coolest, sickest, most modded cars I've ever seen in my entire life here in New York. But at what point are you like, this isn't worth it? That'd be where I'm at. It's not worth it. I'm moving back to the Midwest where there's no restrictions on cars whatsoever, and it's very much a pro do whatever you want kind of thing, rather than having so many restrictions to where everyone just pretty much breaks the law. Because that's what happens when you have too many restrictions. Well, what do you think is going to happen? Too many people are going to be fighting against that, and now you have a rebellion of it. So you might be thinking, what's happening? This is hopefully in hopes with the cat in there and 2 new O2 sensors that I am able to pass inspection. Now, throughout the video, you're going to see me try a lot of different steps and figure out there's a lot of different things that I did need to fix. But as I'm doing right here is called a hard reset. So essentially you disconnect the battery for a good 24 to 48 hours, which has already happened off camera. So now I am reattaching the battery, and hopefully, with that being said, the monitors will register. Okay, so theoretically there should be no codes because I reset everything. It's not gonna be a cold start because obviously the car doesn't need to be warmed up right now. My only fear is that because this isn't a full tank, that I might have some sort of worry there. I'm not going to fill it all the way up. I've already done that actually. So it's like wasting more and more money, but honestly, I'm gonna have to keep driving. So, you know, it's either I fill up now or I fill up later. So let's roll these windows down because it's 85, it's hot. So now, just as a precaution, since I did reset the battery and all, now I really want to pass these things so bad. I'm just gonna let this sit idle for between 3 and 5 minutes, and hopefully at that point something can register. Now, my parents brought up a good point. It's like bringing it to BMW. The only issue that I have with that is I don't think they're going to help me pass emissions, especially when this thing's been heavily modified. And now we're off to the ages where I just wanna pass. Listen guys, and all jokes aside, I mean, I give this state a lot of crap, and I do hate it. But at the same time, the problem that I'm having is indeed my own fault. So there's only so much you can do, and that's why I'll take it to BMW now, and I'm gonna take you guys with me, but at least I'm updating you on what's happening, because this is ridiculous. That BMW, firstly, we got a nice 2025 G80 M3 there. So the diagnostic fee was $299, and to spend that kind of money on top of whatever labor costs just to get an emission sticker was just stupid. They can't help me. Its diagnostic fees are now $299, and whatever labor is on top of that. You can't make this shit up, man. So the way the service advisor put it was that you have the diagnostic fee, which is the $299, and then whatever labor's on top of that, obviously. But what I didn't say yet was he couldn't even tell me how to prevent something or redo it, or even a suggestion, until he did a full diagnostic, because otherwise it's technically an illegal or against policy inspection, or recommendation. Here's a real test. We're gonna plug in the OBD2 port here from MHD, like the Wi-Fi adapter. Connects fully. It is a hot one today. Great news. The O2 sensor is complete, but the oxygen sensor heater is still incomplete. EGR system's complete, and that's, yeah. So, the evap system's incomplete, and then the heater's incomplete. So, I can only miss one. Day number 2 trying to get this. As you can probably tell, the AC is on. Now, I do have an engine code here, and that's mainly for the air intake, like the air mass plausibility. So the next step after you have a CAT back in and new O2 sensors, or just your OEM ones that still work, is to run the electricity, like the AC lines, everything, to full blast, especially in idle. So let's give this a shot. I really don't know how well the audio is going to come out with this, because obviously the AC and then blowers are on for max voltage here. My thing is too with this whole emissions thing is that if your car works well, just like mine, works 90% better than half the cars that are on the road, why should there be an emissions or an inspection test? Full tank of gas, up to operating temperature. I'll turn the car off now. It's time to scan. So I drove an extra 11 miles, which is roughly about 25 minutes. AC full on blast, man. I genuinely, I don't know what else to do if this doesn't work. How the fuck did that turn on? Did I click it by accident? What the hell? You guys are gonna hear the AC again. Read codes. Nothing. Not even the oxygen sensor is registering. No tune on to have new sensors and a new catalytic converter, or not a new catalytic converter, but my old catalytic converter in, and oxygen sensors are still not registering. Yeah, that's one thing I forgot to mention. I also completely uninstalled MHD from the software of the ECU, and still nothing. And as the car kept not registering the values, I decided to do a smoke test. So this is just ingenuity. If you don't have the cones like I do, just get a pair of medium like latex gloves and then tape it. It works just as well. Could be worse. Looks like it's the charge pipe to the intercooler over there, which would make a lot of sense because TMAP sensors are right there. And then MAP sensor makes complete sense. So this could be one of the issues. It is a bad air leak, but I'm not losing boost, so how? Honestly can't believe I forgot an O-ring in here. And yes, that does matter quite a bit. So hopefully with any luck, no more boost leaks after this. The other one already has an O-ring in it towards the throttle body, so the other end of the charge pipe. And hopefully when all this is put back together, we'll do another smoke test and there's gonna be no issues. It turns out there was no actual other leaks, but what I did decide to do next was do a smoke test for the evap system, and this is how it went. Okay, decent amount of smoke is coming out. That's good. Couple things with the evap. So there is the charcoal filter of some sort that is in the driver's side rear corner. Yeah, no, I lied. On F30, F32, it's actually on the bottom of the gas tank, which is unreachable. So we got smoke coming out. Now, let's put the gas cap back in, tighten it, blow away. You can see gas cap is fine. There is absolutely zero leaks here, which is fantastic. Now, the other thing is the low pressure fuel pump situation. It is underneath the passenger side rear seats. You guys are not gonna be able to see it because it's so dark, but it's under the seat. You just have to pull the seat up. I didn't have any leaks on that part. The issue with my evap system not being complete worries me a little bit, because if all that stuff is leak free, I have two assumptions. Either A, it could be the fact of O2 sensors weren't reading correctly and there was boost leaks. Theoretically, maybe it could have been something that was wrong in that point. If not, then we got a bigger worry. I'm gonna do another drive cycle, reset everything, and hopefully at that point, we should be good. Yeah, and that didn't work either. This is my absolute last ditch attempt to see if I can pass emissions. This part, it's not gonna be bad if I change it because it's brand new. But it's also the fact of I paid 160 bucks for this to see if I can pass emissions. Okay, super simple to unhook. It's actually better to unhook this guy, which is to the air intake. But there is no simple way to get this out except for taking out the charge pipe, at least the top portion there. Reason being, and reason why I say this, is because This hose is literally behind the throttle body, and even then, I don't know if you're gonna be able to get it without potentially taking and loosening off the throttle body. Don't worry, if you do have to do this, it's not that bad of a fix. I mean, most of these things aren't torqued down to more than probably about 23 Newton meters, which honestly at that point, you got enough space, so who cares? So you take off the throttle body, you take off the charge pipe, and you have perfect access to this guy, which is part of the evap valve. Once you get that through, you take off the rest of it, and you should be able to unplug all the sensors and get access to it. Alright, so I notice there's a lot of oil on both of these O-rings. Now, let's see how much oil is actually in the manifold then. I'm kind of curious. Probably not the best idea since my hands aren't really that clean. Well, good news is this whole job only takes you about maybe 15 minutes. Granted, you watch this video and you listen to everything that I tell you to take off, so that way it becomes a way easier job, then it will be about 10-15 minutes. But this isn't the end. So what I need to figure out is A, if this even is going to work, and if it doesn't, I mean, oh well, because it's, I mean, one, it's installed, and two, it doesn't hurt to have a new piece. So on top of the evap sensor, there's actually a little indicator, and I'm wondering if it's just too dirty and clogged up, and that's why the evap sensor is not actually monitoring. So maybe this will work. Well, it's now time to test out to see if maybe that fuel valve was the problem. I'm really hoping so. I also got another issue is that I tried to hardwire my P3 gauge. Not that that's emissions related at all, but it just sucks because it's not working out. Like the connection's just not working. So yeah, I guess let's go test this out thing. Alright, so I did somewhat of a drive cycle. My guess is that it's gonna be a 50-50 that it shows that it's complete, or it's just not because I didn't drive long enough. I don't know. Guess let's just read them and see. Hopefully it'll go. I don't know why I'm still having coolant temperature sensor faults. So my oxygen sensor is complete, my EGR system's complete, my evap system is still yet to be complete. This is the evap and then the oxygen sensor heater. Like I was saying, it's a 50-50, so I'm not really surprised, but I'm also like, how long does it take to have the evap system be complete if that was the case? And my suspicions were correct. After doing literally a little bit of research, 2 minutes after that last clip. This is from Bimmer Post for not only for the E-Series but the F-Series chassis. Evap system in a BMW after a reset typically takes a few drive cycles to register as ready for emissions testing. A complete driving cycle includes cold starts, idling, various speed maneuvers, and can usually be completed in under 15 minutes. It's more about completing the necessary tests than simply driving a certain distance. So the question that you all are probably wondering is, did you finally get it to pass? No, I did not. Let's recap on what we did. I put the catalytic converter back in with brand new O2 sensors, left the battery off for about a little over 48 hours, which is a hard reset, with the cat in and new O2 sensors. Did a couple drive cycles, still nothing was completed. And I have no codes, no real codes. Then what I did was I decided to go one step further and uninstall MHD completely from the car, but I still had XHP Stage 3 TransTune on there. I don't really think that would have mattered in terms of anything for emissions because it's a TransTune, it's not an engines tune, it has nothing to do with emissions, it's more like the shifting of the gears and everything. So that didn't work. And that was even after a couple drive cycles and everything back in. We're just not gonna have it done. I wouldn't even need it. I'm moving out of this state in a couple days from this clip here, and I really was only trying to get it to never have a ticket again in the case of getting pulled over, heaven forbid that happens, from going from my house here out of New York and into New Jersey and all this stuff. You know, it sucks. It is what it is. I tried my very best. I have it all on camera. I guess the best case to do for anybody is to show it to a cop. I mean, that's the beauty of social media, is that they trust me and say that I tried to fix it all on my own. Is it a registered dealership to mechanic? No, but at least I know what I'm doing. And it shows for it, because that's not the only video I have. But that's it. We're just not gonna run an emissions inspection sticker. Even though this car runs incredibly well, it is what it is.